And now you start functioning by yourself. And the devil wants you to do that because he knows you are by yourself, you cannot do anything. He wants to steal everything that they can from you. So the moment you just switch your mind and forget whose you are and forget who you are, forget your purpose, that's the moment the devil comes in and steals everything. Hello. Hi, everybody. Good morning. It's morning here. So, yes, good morning and good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching me, from there. So, once again, today I am here to talk about something else that is also very, very sensitive. Last time I talked about faith. Today I want to talk about war, spiritual war. Like the kind where you have to decide. You need to make decisions on which side you are in, because when you are in a war, you cannot be on both sides. You cannot say that, let's say, side A and side B are fighting. You can't say that you are in the middle. You're with both sides. No, you pick a side, because war means war. Like it's fighting. So it's either you are with this side or you are with this other side, but you can't say that you're not there. You find yourself even having to be killed first so that you get out of the picture, And also the Bible usually says that let's not be vugu vugu. Yeah, tusiwe vugu vugu. Let's not be undecided. We need to decide which side we're on. Ama Mungu atatutema. So today I wanted to focus my talk on a verse, not a verse, but verses. It's quite a bit long story. It's in 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 20 to 40. If anybody knows that story, it's the story of Elijah at Mount Carmel, the war between Elijah and Baal and his prophets. So first of all, even verse 20 itself just describes a whole lot, like verse 20 says that so Ahab sent for all the children of Israel, and gathered the prophets together on Mount Carmel. And 21 said, and Elijah came to all the people and said, how long will you falter between two opinions? Okay. If the Lord is God, follow him. Okay. But if Baal, then follow him. But the people answered him not a word. So I think that is 20 and 21. So I think this one already says a lot about what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to dwell on the rest of the verse, the victory and everything. But right now, let me focus on this one point that I want you to get from this talk today and this a certain chapter and book of the Bible. So here Elijah is already telling the people, he needs them to decide. You need to decide which side are you on. If God is God, then follow God. But if you think Baal is God, then follow him. You have to decide whom are you. Let me go back a bit to a time when I was too not decided. So there's a time that I used to be confused about life and understanding God and things. When sometimes challenges could be thrown to you, and then when a wrong person just comes, not say a wrong person, but someone just comes, Satan just sends the bad person to you who takes advantage of that ugly situation you're in, and then they start feeding you things in your mind, start feeding you. So instead of focusing on who I am and the goodness of God and where I'm coming from and the things that God has done for me and the thing that God is about to do for me, you start focusing on the bad things that happened to you. Start focusing on the bad thing that may be happening, may happen after. You start focusing on the wrong thing. So someone just comes and then they push you to that side. They're like speaking to you in your ears and giving you all the wrong ideas, telling you, you know what, God does not love you. There's actually no God. Why do you think the world is just like this? You need to fight. You need to, a lot of things, But at the end of the day, I came to realize, after he told me that, I was confused. I was like, I think I need to understand. Because I have been believing in God, and now this person comes, and then they're telling me that there's no God. That now I need to start. So now I need to start thinking about this other side. Oh, okay. Now let me add one thing. Another situation. Okay. Ama kweli hakuna Mungu. But the truth is that was just the devil doing the devil thing, getting you out of your idea that God works, because God works when we see him work. But the moment you stop seeing him work, you have chased him away. What works is the new idea you have put in your mind. That's not the thing that starts working. I told you this life really functions weirdly. Funny. But that is just the truth of the matter. If you choose God, you choose God. And if you do not choose God, then you just do not choose God. And all the Baal prophets, they all come to you and start coming with all their ideas. They start coming with all their opinions about life, about everything. The moment you switch off and stop believing that God is the one who has been taking care of me, is the one who has been in control. I want you to know that it's very, very, very sensitive to say that God does not exist. Because the moment you say that, that's the moment you have removed God from your mind. And now you start functioning by yourself. And the devil wants you to do that because he knows by yourself you cannot do anything. He wants to steal everything that they can from you. So the moment you just switch your mind and forget whose you are and forget who you are, forget your purpose, that's the moment the devil comes in and steals everything. And after they've stolen everything from you, the only thing that they remain to do is now kill you, so that they use everything that you have in peace. They use your tactics, they use your bravery, the one that God had given you, the one that God created and meant it to be for you, because God created us perfectly. And the devil knows everybody has something. And so they want to use that something. They want the opportunity to, and some people may be more gifted than others. So the devil knows them. The devil knows who God is using, according to maybe what is happening in their lives, according to how they are, who they are, where they are. The devil knows. So the moment that he comes and switches that button, like ni kama kuongeza volume ya sauti zile ambazo sasa ndio mbaya, unaona? Because there's a time in your life when the volume is low, you can't even hear the devil talking, you can't even hear the enemies talking. But now there's that time in your life, which that time is the time that is very, very crucial and sensitive. The time when now you have to choose and you are going to the next level of your life. That time is the time that the devil comes in. Before you go to that next level, the devil comes in. And then, that's the time when now they usually say that the devil tells Jesus, what, they don't deserve it. Let me show you why. Let me show you how. And then they come and they just switch everything. Destroy your life. Destroy you. they crush you. When you fall for it, you're dead. You're gone. But why am I talking about this today? It's because I want to focus on the war, the spiritual war. Satan comes and puts the idea of there's no God. You're alone in this, so that you start thinking like that. You start thinking that I have been alone. I have been doing it on my own. I am alone. You know, the moment you now put those ideas in your head, you become weak because you remove God from your mind. You remove God from your soul, God from your system. So now you start focusing alone. So even if someone comes and punches you, you think to yourself, I need to strike alone. You think to yourself now, I need to fight alone. And you cannot. And the devil knows you can't. He knows you can't. And that's why he makes sure he gets God out of the picture first. Because it's all here. Your brain is very, very strong. It holds everything. Your brain tells you God exists. Believe it. But if someone else comes with the idea that God doesn't exist, don't believe them. Because you know deep inside that things have been happening the way that it's not you who's been controlling them since you are a child. Since you are a child. So first thing I want to focus on is discussing that thing of making a choice. Even if that day comes when you were feeling like I'm being attacked spiritually, that day, don't even think for 1 second that God is not there. Because the more you call him, the more he knows you're on his side. Let's go back to what happened. After now, Elijah, Ahab has already sent for all the children of Israel. And Elijah has talked to them and asked them, you know what, you need to make a choice. Now this is the time you need to make a choice. If you are of God, say you are of God and believe in God. If you are of Baal, say you are of Baal and believe in Baal. There are so many people right now that say they are of God, but the truth is they are of Baal. The slightest, moment of weakness that comes to them, they rush to option B. The moment a slight moment of temptation comes, they run to option B. And who is option B? Option B is witch doctors. Option B is people who are not believing in God, people who are believing in other spirits. Spirits of like maybe kuiba nyota. Let me say that because that's a very common thing. Kuiba nyota, sijui kumuibia mwingine kama wewe yako haifanyi. And the truth is everybody was given something. Kila mtu alipewa kitu. Sasa ule anakuletea hiyo idea ya iba ya ule akona nyota kubwa sana iba yake. So kuna watu ambao wanakimbilia hiyo option. The moment wanaangalia wanaona ni kama life yao inaenda mbaya kidogo. Let me tell you a story once again. There is a time mimi pia nilikuwa wakati wangu ulikuwa mgumu sana. Nilikuwa na go through a very, very difficult moment and period kwa maisha yangu ya wakati. And you know what happened? Nilichoka. Nilitaka sana Mungu anitoe kwa hiyo situation. Hakuna kulia, sikulia. Na hii ni kitambo, hii hata si juzi ati kama nimeenda India. Kitambo hii. Nikauliza Mungu, nitafanya nini? Nikachanganyikiwa sana. Nikafikiria vitu vyote ambavyo ningefanya. Mimi sikufikiria maneno ya mganga. Nilifikiria maneno ya Illuminati kweli. Nikafikiria labda Illuminati itanitoa kwa shida. Nikafikiria vitu vingi. Lakini acha nikwambie, there's one thing that was so strong in my chest that just told me, don't worry, it's all going to be over. Itapita hii, usijali. Now you just need to focus your head and think about what has God given me, the power that God has given me that can get me out of this situation. And that thing was so strong, that feeling was very, very strong, that it pushed me to making the decisions that I did, that made me a totally new person. I prayed, I called, and after that, God just came and akanitoa hapo, akaleta an opportunity, nikafundishwa some course. I started hustling kupitia hiyo course. Nikatoka kwenye nilikuwa na feel niko na shida, mpaka nikahama. All the same, during that time, hiyo condition ingenimaliza kabisa. Kama ningefikiria tu one moment, wacha niende kwa mganga. Hivyo ndivyo ningeharibu maisha yangu kabisa na kabisa. Lakini I still had hiyo feeling ya Mungu bado unaona, Mungu bado uko, Mungu bado nakuamini. Tena ile maombi ambayo niliomba nikiwa mdogo, naambianga watu muombe hata kama mko wadogo, muombe. Hiyo maombi inakujanga inasaidia mtu kwa maisha. Ile maombi unaomba unasema Mungu nilinde, hata nikikuwa mkubwa nilinde. That prayer really helps. Hiyo ndo maombi ilinichunga, ilinitunza. Hata wakati nataka kufikiria vingine inanirudisha kwa line. Mungu alikuwa anafanya bado kazi yake. Ile yenye ulimuita afanye, anafanya. So I survived well. Then maisha yangu ikakuwa mzuri tu, ikakuwa tu sawa mpaka tu ile siku ambayo nilienda India kidogo ndio vitu zikaenda vibaya. Lakini what I want to say is there is a time that everybody anafikanga yo period, yo wakati. Na ile ndio wakati wa war, ile ndio wakati wa vita halisi. Yeah? Mimi nilipitia hiyo vita hiyo wakati sana, nikaenda to the next level. Ile wakati unaenda kuenda to the next level, hiyo wakati ndio ile shida inakuslapingi. Unashangaa hata kaimi hata kukula nitakula nini. Unashangaa Mungu wangu hata kila mtu ananipendi, ninapitia hii, ninapitia ile. Hiyo ndio ile wakati vitu zinakujanga zinafanyika kwa maisha yako, unashangaa how are you going to get out of that. Lakini nataka ujue Mungu haachangi waja wake. Just call on him. Keep calling on him. Don't get tired. Just keep trying. Kuna mtu niliona amepost kitu juzi, akasema hii ni ya wale wenye wanaomba na maombi isikiki. Acha niwaambie kitu. Ukisikia unaomba na maombi isikiki haifiki, enda kwa mtu mwenye unaona maombi yake inafika. Muongeleshe. Mwambie tafadhali nisaidie kuombea hii. Labda yako utaona ni kama isikiki, lakini ule atakusaidia na itasikika. Ule kwa sababu yeye yake maybe amefika ile kiwango yenye sasa nina have a direct conversation na God. That's why we talk about going to the man of God. Lakini sio kwa mganga, lakini sio kwa option ya hakuna Mungu, fight on your own. Sijui ushikane na watu wenzako wenye waamini Mungu alafu you fight. That's a fat lie. That's a fat lie. Anybody can leave you. Mtu yeyote anaweza kuacha, lakini Mungu hawezi. Hata hiyo group yenye unajifanya hapa ati uko na wewe imekushikilia, tunapendana, watakuja kukuacha, watakusahau. But God will never forget you. He'll never leave you. Never. That's a promise. So all in all, once again, let me go back to this story of Elijah and Baal and his prophets. So I can't read the whole verse. You'll just go read it at home. I'll just read it there, wherever you are. I know the Bible is available on the internet if you do not have one. So what happened in the story of Elijah? Elijah, after saying that, Baal, the prophets of Baal were like so full of themselves. Baal was so full of himself, and our God is miraculous. Our God, uchawi kweli una nguvu. Uchawi kweli una nguvu, yani. Hiyo si uongo. Una nguvu, una nguvu, not a lie. Lakini usiogope mtu mwenye ako na uchawi kama uko na Mungu. Usiogope. Because Mungu pia ana nguvu, hata wachawi wanajua. If you keep trusting and believing in God solidly, they know you will be untouchable. So don't think that you're supposed to fear and live in fear because when you hear the name wachawi, no, you shouldn't. So Baal and his prophets were confident that their gods were strong, which was true. They were. But what they didn't know is there's a God who is above them, the one who created them. And that is the God that Elijah called, the God of purity. The God of purity. Once again, let me say that. He speaks to our bodies when they have not been tampered by the devil. He speaks so clearly that we can hear him when we have not let the devil's temptations tempt us. That is the God I'm talking about. That even if the devil brings temptations, you know so well that there is a God. And that God is the one that I believe in. And I know this is going to pass. Hauna nguvu kuliko Mungu wangu, Shetani. Hauna nguvu kuliko my God. So that is the kind of deciding that I'm talking about. Trusting in whom you believe in. Trusting in the God that I'm talking about. The God of Elijah, the God of Abraham, the God of Jesus Christ. That's the God I'm talking about. God who loves pure intentions, pure love, pure kindness, pure holiness. That's the God I'm talking about. And that is the God who won that battle. Elijah solidly believed in God because he had seen God. He knew God in person. God had done so much to him that he knew, I am certain God will win this battle. That's why he told them, you know what, you guys, just fill everything with water. Fill everything with water. So that when fire comes out of nowhere, it won't have to burn things out. He knew it. He knew what God can do. He knew the power that God had. And he was ready for the war. What about you? Do you believe in a God in a way that when you are put into temptations or it's time for war, you can stand by your God and say, God will win this. I don't have nothing to worry about. No matter what the devil or the evil one throws at me, I know my God. My God will win this. My God will do it. God has done something for everyone. You need to sit down and try and rewind your life, rewind everything. You will see one moment that God really did something miraculous to you. Now imagine that power. And then think about yourself and say, that power is real. And that power that happened then will happen to me again. Let God be called God. That is who He is. That is who He is. He's not human. He'd never lie. He'd never be corrupted by anything. He's above everything. He knows the devil. He created him. He knows the evil people. He created them. Even before they do their evil to people, he's watching. He's seeing everything. He just wants you to believe in him more than believing in what the enemy is trying to do to you. That is the war I'm talking about. Even if you're being attacked, even if you're in that moment when you're feeling like that it is over for you, I want you to know that it's not. It's not. Pray harder. Call on God harder. Call people to help you pray if you have to. Because connections and networks also help. Yes. So I want anybody who is watching this out there and you're confused. You're confused. You're really confused. You're thinking, which side am I on? Because you already know which side you're on. At this moment, you know. Are you on the side of God, where you wait for natural things to happen naturally? Or are you on the side of Satan, where you force things to happen your way? Choose. All the same. God will still be God. Thank you.